It was another win for the Montreal Canadiens over the weekend, but it was an even bigger win for the Montreal Alouettes because their victory is taking them to the Grey Cup. And joining us now is sports analyst Meeker Guerrier, joining us despite a bit of a cold. So thank you, Meeker. We appreciate it.
No worries, no worries.
So the Owls won Saturday's East final, and they're going back to the Grey Cup, which I can't believe it's come already, but it's next weekend.
Yes, exactly. It'll be in Winnipeg next weekend. They're playing against the Rough Riders, the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. And it's the second time the Alouettes are going to the Grey Cup in 3 years. And they won because of an incredible kick at the end of the game. It was a dramatic end for them. And for the Alouettes, it's a comeback because they didn't start the season that well, but they ended up going to the Grey Cup. And with Davis Alexander, to me, if Davis Alexander hadn't been injured this year, he might have been a contender for the MVP in that league. He hasn't lost yet in the LCF, in the CFL, I should say. LCF is in French, but he hasn't lost yet. He's really the best players. He was a little hurt, but hopefully he'll be fine for the final game, and it'll be one very good game, I'm sure of that Sunday evening.
Okay, and back to the Habs because they beat the Utah Mammoth on Saturday night. This is after 2 consecutive losses, and I believe both of those losses were in overtime.
Yes, they were, exactly. And the Montreal Canadiens, we can say now they're a very offensive team. And you know what? It started slowly for the Montreal Canadiens, and that's what I find very interesting with that team now, is that they start slowly, but you always have a hope that they'll come back into that game, and that's exactly what they did over the weekend. They were trailing 0-1, then they were trailing 2-1, but finally they made it and they won 6-2. They scored goals, they're spectacular. The atmosphere at the Bell Center is incredible. That goal, the last goal by Kirby Dack, was amazing. So yeah, the Habs are now a very offensive team and they're fun to watch.
Yeah, so let's talk about the snow because it's had an impact on a couple of soccer teams, including yesterday. Okay, look at that. Let's watch. There you go.
That is
what a
amazing.
Goal.
What
so
a goal.
And
you know what?
Game.
Those images were published through the world on the web, on TV. I saw it on CNN earlier today. And Ottawa was crowned champion of the CPL against Calgary. But those images, the game, and is there anything more Canadian than that? A bicycle kick on a snowfield? That was amazing. But that also pushed back the Roses, who were supposed to play in Toronto yesterday. They're playing tonight at 6 p.m. and they're playing their season because they're trailing 2-0, and they need to score goals in Toronto to make sure that they make it to the finals. So we'll have an answer for that later on tonight.
Okay, so very quickly before we wrap up, we have just a little bit of time left. I want to turn to tennis because Montreal's Felix Auger-Aliassime is under a lot of pressure heading into the ATP finals in Turin. Yes,
and he's hurt also, so that it hasn't worked very well for him. He lost 7-5 the first set, lost the second one 6-1. But you can see how hurt he is, and it's hard. And it's the reason why he didn't play the previous tournament, and let Lorenzo Musetti make it or break it for the ATP finals. And he was able to make it, but obviously he is hurt, and that didn't help against the second player of the world.
Yeah, okay. We'll have to leave it there, Meeker. Thank you, as always. We appreciate it.
All right. Take care. Talk to you soon.